Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Eager to introduce to you Jerry Schubach, who is from Majestic Messiah Ministries and King's Seminary. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Jerry, we're going to start from scratch. I think this is something new to many of us. Majestic Messiah Ministries. Tell me what you're about.
Well, we started way back in Florida in that, and my wife...
About how long ago?
Oh, shoot, it's been over 10 years ago, it was originally.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we got married, Cassandra and I got married, and she's a writer, and she had all this inspirational poetry that she wrote. And when I saw it, I said, we got to get this out,
Mm-hmm.
And she had been a victim of crime, a violent crime when she was younger, and this was all inspirational stuff, and it was really good. I mean, I could tell God really anointed it. So we decided we were going to print that, and we printed up a book, and so far she's been in about 5 or 6 books.
Nice.
But basically, the ministry started out to reach, both of us were born Catholic in that, and the ministry started to, we were raised Catholic. We're pretty much non-denominational now, I guess you'd call it.
Mm-hmm.
We believe the Bible pretty much straight.
Yeah.
And so we started a ministry to reach hurting people and to get these books out to them.
When you're saying reaching hurting people, you really have targeted people who have been victims of violent crimes.
Correct, because that's what Cassandra learned to live through that.
Mm-hmm.
And my life pretty much has always been reaching out to the lost. So, people have been through things.
Did she find that writing the poetry was cathartic for her and a big part of her healing process?
Right. She had went to a lot of thousands and thousands of dollars of therapy and
Sure.
and the Christian psychologists and that. And part of her therapy they taught her was to write.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where her poetry originally started.
How do you meet other people who are your target market? How do you meet these other people who have been victims?
That's pretty simple because all you have to do is watch the news.
Oh my,
There's so much
yeah.
crime and so much violence out there. I mean, It's unlimited on people hurting people there a lot.
And what seems to be their response when they hear from you?
Well, we've seen several of them actually start writing their own books and reaching other people.
Wow. Well, tell me a little bit, is there a place where you're located? Is this something that you have a gathering place, venue?
We moved to Ohio because we believe God wanted us to come up, and we moved to Canton, Ohio. So what we did is we bought we bought a house, and God helped us get this house, and we started to renovate it, just kind of like you renovate people's lives. Well, we started renovating the house in Canton, and that became part of our when we actually became 501(c)(3), we were in Canton, Ohio, and that became part of our ministry because what we're doing now is we're fixing up houses, and we're going to rent those out and use those funds to purchase books to be able to give them out free.
So the ministry itself is, you're focusing on the books themselves.
The main ministry, the main call that God has on our life is basically to reach the hurting people and turn them towards God.
Yes.
That's our main mission.
So Cassandra also started King's Seminary.
Correct.
So let's talk about that.
Well, what happened is, because it's hard, violent crime and that is a hard subject. People don't want to hear about it. So it's hard to get people to actually give to that type of thing because there's so many other things you can give to, like we give to paralyzed veterans and that. There's a lot of other things that people would rather give to. So we was having problems we're using our own funds mainly for this from the beginning. So her one idea was, she wanted to get the Bible out, so her whole idea was, maybe I can start King's Seminary at a correspondence school.
Yeah.
Because she went to a lot of correspondence schools. So basically she said, maybe we can do that, and if we get extra money in for that, we'll use that for the ministry. So we're trying different methods to get funds to be able to purchase books, to be able to send them out. So that's what King Seminary started.
It's all a complete circle.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's not easy to start a seminary.
I know. When she first told me this idea, she said, God gave me an idea. And she said, when she first told me, I'm like thinking, this is maybe a little bit crazy, But when she designed it, she took a year to design the thing, and it's online now.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really love about it is she's got I don't even know how many, over 30 probably. There are books there from Charles Stanley, T.D. Jakes. I mean, just about every denomination. She went through and she looked for the best book about the Holy Spirit, the best book on salvation, the best book on where it's basically most seminaries, they really get into it a little bit too deep, I think. And what I like about hers is she's brought the whole church together. Like, even if somebody doesn't join the seminary, they could get on that website, look at a couple of those books. She's got the courses laid out and the books that are going to be in that course. They could get on the website, pick out their subject, their books, go to Amazon and buy it and study it and be turned to God.
What does
That's
a
what
person?
I like about it.
Yes. What does a person have when they complete the coursework? Then is there some kind of a certificate, or what do you have?
Of course, most Christian seminaries aren't accredited with the government. They're not that type of thing. She gives out regular degrees. You can get a regular doctorate degree, and
is this an accredited institution?
It's not accredited.
Okay, all right.
But you can act. But according to God and according to the, the Christianity, you're accredited with God, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
And you've been introduced to a wide spectrum of leading Christian thinkers.
Oh yeah, if you read all those, if you get on those, read all those, trust me, you'll know Jesus and you'll have the right direction, no doubt.
Who did she talk to get this going? I mean,
on her knees in prayer. She spends probably 40 hours a week with God in prayer and in the Bible.
Wow. And then to be able to put together a curriculum. Did she have background in this at all?
When I first met her, I'll go backstage. Okay. When I first met her, I was going through a real tragic time in my life, right? And she has back training of actually security officer. If you get on there, she's K-9 security supervisor.
Oh, my goodness.
So when I first met her, she was on duty, and I saw this pretty girl, and I said, gee, I need to talk to her. I walked up to her because I used to walk out my problems, me and God, and walk it out. And the first words out of her mouth was that she said, "I don't need a man. I've got God in my life."
That's a good intro.
And I'm like,
yes.
So she was kind of a little bit feisty about it, and so I walked away, and I thought, well, I got to find out what's more about this.
That's
more
so
about
interesting.
This woman, and that was our introduction. But she's really, she loves God.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes, and now, how long has King Seminary been up and running?
In May was the opening date.
Okay.
So it's up and it's there.
And do you have students?
Not yet.
Not yet. So. That's why we're talking about it. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to.
So if someone is interested in being exposed to all this good Christian literature and is interested in online work, online study,
right?
Not necessarily with an accreditation at the end, but you certainly would have a good, solid background. Who is this for? Who would you recommend this for?
We would recommend this for anybody that really... she doesn't try to get the student. She said, you pray and you ask God.
Yeah.
If it's for you, you'll know. It's for anybody, pretty much. I mean...
And for somebody...
the gospel is for everybody.
That is right. So, and this would... be another way, getting into the Word. But do you also get into the Word?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Her main book that you have to purchase is Charles Stanley's book. What has he got one? It's a Bible. What is it called? Let me think what it is. It's his Bible study. It's his study Bible that he actually gives out.
Okay.
I can't remember what he calls it now.
Okay, but it's
Yeah.
the study Bible.
Oh yeah, it's total. God told her just total Bible. Mm-hmm. That's what this course is, total Bible.
And so King's Seminary, was developed to support Majestic Messiah Ministries.
Correct. That was her inspiration for starting that. Yeah.
So now,
and she loves God. You know.
Well, right. So you're talking about reaching out to people, any hurting people, but those particularly, this has been on your heart. That it's people who have suffered some kind of violent crime.
Yeah, because no one, they usually don't get help because they've been hurt so bad. They're kind of isolated. And they really need. Well, her comment was before you can reach out to God, you have to have your mind has to be healed, or you can't really even. It's hard to reach out to God. Mm-hmm. So you really do need serious counseling and stuff to help you heal.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a healthy mind, it's gonna hinder you from reaching out to God and reading the Bible. So they're isolated and they're forgotten. A lot of them are forgotten.
Walk me through your wife's own healing process.
Well, she has about over $20,000 worth. She was in Florida, and her healing process continues today even. That
Sure.
was like, she's 48, and this happened when she was a kid. Mm-hmm. And she was in her 20s when she started the therapy and that. So when people's been... See, that's what I've learned, too. When people have been hurt and damaged emotions, God saves you and God forgives you. Mm-hmm. But, if you had a broken leg and it's not healed right, you're going to limp some. So your emotions have to be, when they get damaged and hurt, it takes years and years for God's love to heal that. It's a very slow process. That's why sexual abuse and that type of thing
it takes some time, but he's able.
It takes a long time. Yeah, she's still continually in the healing process. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that it means something when you come across people that you're ministering to find out that she's walked where they've walked.
She has the compassion. She has She has a lot more than I do because I haven't had that in my past. So she has that empathy and she has that sympathy and she has that compassion.
Well, how about stories that you've heard from people coming to you? It just seems that I'm sure this is something very different. This is different than them having to, go through all the legal things or the police work involved. At this point, you're talking about healing someone from the inside out.
God has to
I'm
do that.
sure
Right.
you've heard some amazing things.
Well, what we do is if you draw a person to God, you draw them. If you say a few words are like a rudder on a ship. Mm-hmm. If you say, you have the opportunity to do that on your radio all the time. A few words are like a rudder on a ship, and if you say a few encouraging words, and that's what her books do, they can steer that ship in a whole different direction towards God. And once they're steered that direction, then the Holy Spirit will do the rest.
He does the
it's
healing.
not, we don't heal people.
Right.
He does. And God can't really heal people until they turn towards him,
Because he's a gentleman.
So, yeah, I don't want to there's some stories, but
well, we wouldn't want to.
I don't want to bring them out
names.
because some of them are so bad.
Oh,
do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't need to dwell on that
Right,
part.
right.
I would love to focus
She
on
said,
the healing
she said,
part
dwell
of
on
it.
what God does. Dwell on what God does.
Yes.
Because there's so much negative right now. The real testimony is God does heal. I had damaged emotions in my life when I was a kid. My father was very abusive. And God took years to heal me. So, but I never had what she had, pretty much. So I know God takes. He's very patient with you.
We want to talk more about her books. When we come back, we have to take a short break, but we're visiting with Jerry Schubach from Majestic Messiah Ministries and King's Seminary. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.